welcome to this special edition of the Travel Show, coming to you this week from Russia, or Vladivostok to be more precise. And this is a region that was once ruled by China, so there's a fascinating past and present to explore. Coming up on this week's program, I go for a walk on the wild side inside the Chinatown that Stalin tried to shut down.
And it also has its own mafia that actually used its secret doors and hideaways to hide from the police.
We've got advice on how to get from London to Rome by train, and I go fishing in the frosty waters off the coast of Russia.
Ну, хорошо.
Can you believe that?
Сейчас еще поймаю.
Jump straight back in. That's one clever fish. In the heart of Vladivostok, there's a quarter called Milionka. It's one of the city's oldest neighborhoods, founded in the 1870s. Located near the port, where Chinese and Korean sailing ships used to moor, it was once Vladivostok's Chinatown. It's called Milionka from the word millions because many of the Asian population lived here. Chinese, Japanese, Koreans. Now, I'm sure it wasn't actually millions, but it probably felt like it at the time. Famous for its intricate alleyways and hodgepodge of buildings, the imperial Tsarist authorities considered it a slum.
It was a place where the Chinese small shops, cafes, barber shops, laundries were located.
Ksenia Yereyenko is a historian who organizes guided tours around the area.
Milionka was a kind of city in the city, and it has its own rules, its own bosses, its own entertainments like gambling houses, opium dens, and so on. And it also has its own mafia that actually used its secret doors and hideaways to hide from the police. You can see that the houses in the Milionka are built in a very irregular way. There's no planning, and there were bridges between different buildings. There was a rumor that you can enter Milionka at one side and then suddenly appear at the other side of the city.
At the time of the Russian Revolution, a third of Vladivostok's population was Chinese, and Milionka severely overcrowded. So at its height in the 1900s, it's thought there were around 50,000 Chinese living here in Milionka, crammed into the space the size of 2 New York City blocks. Other experts say this estimate is on the conservative side, and there could have been as many as 100,000 people living in red brick houses like this behind me. Milionka thrived until 1936, when Joseph Stalin ordered the area to be emptied and deported the Chinese who called it home. Although many of the original buildings have been destroyed, today the area holds a peculiar charm and is full of legends. Alexander Fatkulin grew up here and used to explore its crumbling alleyways.
For me, the child, this place was like a magic place, magic world, where I could feel myself in a fairy tale. Somewhere where grown-ups, they couldn't come, and we spent all times together with my friends just in our own world, in a magic world. Yeah.
I heard that there was gold hidden within these walls. Is that true? Did you find gold?
No. I didn't find gold, but I think that in my childhood I found much more precious things for me.
it's not just children's imagination that's inspired Milionka. The district is being revived with up-to-the-minute cafes opening their doors,
Latte?
and a growing number of tours introducing visitors to the area's past.
I love this mishmash of architecture and ruins. These tiny alleyways remind me a bit of the old hutongs in Beijing, although you'll be hard-pressed to find any now because they've mostly been bulldozed to make way for new developments. And some people here in Vladivostok are worried that with time, this city within a city could suffer the same fate. And what about the Milionka of today? How would you describe Milionka today?
Миллионка сегодня – это вовсе не миллионка. Это такой прекрасный квартал, который напоминает нам о прошлом, и который, к сожалению, разрушается. Вот для нас, работников музея, для тех, кто вообще занимается историей города, это проблема. Потому что нам бы хотелось, чтобы этот район сохранили, но он потихоньку разрушается, и это, конечно, нам печально за этим наблюдать. Вот мы поэтому и затеяли такой проект пешеходных экскурсий вечерних. Мы собираем горожан возле здания музея, такие группы экскурсионные, и водим их в Миллионку. Вот есть у нас такой маршрут экскурсионный, мы рассказываем людям о том, каким был квартал, чем он жил раньше, для того, чтобы вот привлечь внимание общественности к тому, что этот район, к сожалению, разрушается.
And what does the future hold for Milionka?
It's a very big problem. Очень большой вопрос вообще, что будет с Миллионкой, каково ее будущее. Я не знаю, I don't know.
What do you think now when you come here? What do you think? Do you think it's become too commercialized? Has it changed?
A lot of things changed in the last 20 years, but I think that it's better to put some new spirit in the places like this and not to leave them abandoned. It's better if people appreciate it right now. I think that for every person here in Vladivostok, it's very important just to be sometimes here and to feel this spirit, just to feel your own spirit here, you know, to find yourself in this old place and to understand that you live not in a very contemporary city, but the city with a history.
Up next, we hit the road with our thirsty explorer Brad Cohen, who this week heads to the Czech Republic to get the lowdown on their world-famous lagers.
You can go to Prague to gaze at its stunning architecture, stroll through the castle district, or dance all night. But the birthplace of light lager is also home to funky bars, beer gardens, and restaurants with taps directly at the table. Under the guidance of a Bavarian brewer in the Czech town of Pilsen in 1842, Pilsner Urquell changed brewing forever by creating the first golden beer. Ever since, the rest of the world has been trying to imitate Czech Lager. But Pilsner Urquell was sold to South African giant SAB Miller in 2002, and some believe this helped contribute to the recent microbrewing boom that is now enticing Czechs to discover new flavors, such as American and Belgian-style ales.
It's our national treasure. How would you feel about selling your national treasure?
Even the country's first known brewery at Prague's Brevnov Monastery reopened in 2011. It was one of 6 breweries to open in Prague that year. How are you?
Hello. This Brevnov Monastery is the first monastery in Czech. It was founded in the end of 10th century.
So they've been brewing beer here for over 1,000 years.
In Czech, each pub had only one brand, and many people went to same pub all his life and drank only one brand. And it is very difficult to change in short time.
But Janik explained that despite Czech's newfound appreciation for international style beers, light lager is still king. Who makes the best beer?
For me, it's a Czech Lager.
Yeah?
It is beer for drinking.
And with that, it was time to sample the lager straight from the tank.
when you drink a good lager, each drinking invite you to other drinking.
So that's why you guys drink so much beer.
Yeah.
You just keep getting invited.
Yeah.
Well, stay with us because coming up, our global guru Simon Calder's here to answer more of your travel questions, and I head out to sea here in Russia to try my hand at paddleboarding, Vladivostok style.
The Travel Show, your essential guide wherever you're heading.
Welcome to the slice of the show that tackles your questions about getting the best out of travel. Coming up shortly, a city break from London to Rome by rail. But first, in East Africa, a remarkable new railway has opened, connecting the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa, with Djibouti on the Indian Ocean. The electrified line stretches for 750 kilometres through dramatic terrain, paralleling a narrow gauge track built by the French a century ago. It will reduce the terrestrial travel time between the two cities from a week to just 10 hours. Passenger services are expected to start early next year. Next, Andrew Murray is interested in a trip from the UK to Italy, but not aboard the usual means of transport.
Hi, my wife and I would like to travel from London to Rome on a city break, but without flying. How do we do this?
The rail trip between the two capitals takes a minimum of 17 hours, compared with less than 3 by air. But it's a rewarding journey and offers the chance to take 2 different routes, out and back. Going south, I recommend the direct morning train from London to Marseille, which gets to the Mediterranean in the mid-afternoon. You'll have time to stretch your legs and grab a picnic lunch before the onward connection to Nice and Genoa. Sit on the right for the spectacular coastal journey. You could overnight in Genoa and travel on next morning, or stay on board the night train and arrive with the dawn in Rome. The trip will probably cost significantly more than the cheapest return flight, but a good specialist international rail agent will be able to find the most economical ticket. In your position, I'd ask 2 rival companies to quote. Now, I envy the 3 children of Cara Scott because they are off to Florida.
We're planning the usual theme parks, but also want to see other things while we're there. Any suggestions?
My Central Florida highlight is the Kennedy Space Center at Cape Canaveral, a fabulous theme park where the theme is man's quest for space travel. Your children will learn how the race to the moon gripped the world in the 1960s and see the possibilities for future expeditions. Invest an extra $25 per person in one of the excellent backstage tours and see if you can time your trip to coincide with a space launch from the nearby Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. They take place on average about once or twice a month. Finally, Steve Faulkner is one of many passengers who needs to switch between London's 2 main air hubs.
What's the cheapest way to travel between Heathrow and Gatwick airports? We've got plenty of time between flights and we need to economise.
London's biggest airports are connected by a frequent bus service which costs a flat £20 one way. But as you've time on your hands, you can take the X26 bus from Heathrow to East Croydon railway station, a journey of about 90 minutes for just £1.50, so long as you use a contactless card. The 15-minute Thameslink train from there to Gatwick is £4.50. At £6 all in, I reckon the only cheaper option is to hitchhike. Whether you're saving time or money, The Travel Show is here to help. So email your question to thetravelshow@bbc.com and I'll do my very best to find you an answer. From me, Simon Calder, the Global Guru, bye for now and see you next time.
Vladivostok is Russia's most important Pacific Ocean port, but its coastline is also popular amongst locals and now many foreign tourists. So I'm going to explore a different side of the city, on the water. It's been called the Côte d'Azur of Russia's Far East, and one of the best ways to get to know it is by boat.
Hi, are you Costa?
Good morning.
Hi. Let's go.
Welcome.
It's a little bit cold with the air blowing in my face on the speedboat, but overall it's a beautiful, crisp morning. Who knew you could do this in Vladivostok? A sign of things to come. What type of tourists come here?
Ну, китайцев, конечно же, больше, чем из других стран какие-либо туристы приезжают. Ну так, в основном у нас либо Москва, Хабаровск и Китай.
What are the main activities?
Очень любят экскурсию, ну, посмотреть на птичьи базары, на гроты, отвесные скалы. Вода очень прозрачная и очень впечатляет туристов чистота воды.
The largest island in this area is called Ruski Island. Fully militarized for nearly 150 years, it's only been open to foreigners since the early 2000s.
And now, in recent years, they've built a bridge from the mainland to the island, making it far more accessible. But today, we're going to take the scenic route.
We slow down by Skriplev Island, home to an abandoned army barracks and the oldest lighthouse in this area. Built in the 1870s, it's still operational today.
So, this looks like a fishing box.
Fishing box.
Many people come here to fish, and although I'm not much of an angler, I'm prepared to give it a try.
Если рыбак опытный и есть желание, можно поймать 25 килограмм на одного.
Today, we're fishing plaice. I'm not promising 25 kilos of it, though.
How are you going on that side, Costa? There's nothing biting on this side. What happened? Oh, you caught one already? Wow.
This is a камбала, baby.
That was so fast. Are you going to throw it back?
Отпускаем.
Throw it back?
Да, да.
Okay.
Go home.
Go home.
Да, go home.
Okay, we can throw the baby fish back.
Да.
Nothing happening over here. Nothing. How is that possible? I've been sitting here for 15 minutes. Throws his line in, he gets one within 5 seconds.
While my luck doesn't seem to be changing, Costa's good fortune just continues.
Oh, very big fish.
You've got a big one?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Look at that, look at the line. It's bending. Oh, you want me to try and reel him in? Oh my goodness, okay. Hope it's not a boot or something. It's coming, can you see the bend in the rod? Oh yeah, look, look, look. Still a very small fish though. Is it the baby again?
Нормально.
Oh, this is normal size?
Yeah.
My catch turns out to be an average-sized plaice, but my celebration is cut short.
Ну хорошо.
Where'd he go? Did he jump in?
No problem. Хорошо.
Can you believe that?
Сейчас еще поймаю.
Jump straight back in. That's one clever fish.
The sea here freezes for around 4 months of the year, but according to the locals, that's no excuse to stop enjoying the outdoors.
So this is Sorbel Bay, and as we came in, we actually saw people swimming in just their swimming trunks. It's not warm, it's about 14 degrees, and I'm about to have my very first stand-up paddleboard lesson.
Stand-up paddleboarding, or sup surfing as they call it here, has been growing in popularity for the last few years.
Now it's going bigger and bigger. Every year it's must be popular. The sea is still warm on summertime, and it's a beautiful base and beautiful nature here.
Okay, so shall we do it?
Definitely, let's do it.
And we're off. I'm off to a wobbly start. And even the smallest wave looks daunting from where I'm standing. The water is really clear, but it looks chilly. My main aim is not to fall in. Paddling in a straight line proves to be harder than it looks, especially as staying upright is my main focus. Keep your core muscles tight and focus on the horizon is the advice. Again, it's easier said than done. I'm nearly back on solid ground, but just when I think I've made it, see why it has such a big appeal for tourists. You know, you can be a complete novice like me, you can get on the board. My real fear was falling in because it was so cold. But you know, I made it. Something a bit different. Well, that's it for this week's show from Russia. Join us next week when Addis in Jordan, where for the first time ever, a national trail has been mapped through the entire country, giving everyone the chance to get off the beaten track.
This trek is amazing. The views are breathtaking, but I'm not going to lie, there are some parts of it that are really difficult, even for someone with skills like me. See you later! Woo! Oh yeah! Oh no! Can I stop? Slow down. Burning hands. Woo! Ah!
I hope you can join us for that if you can, and don't forget, we're all over social media. The link should be at the bottom of your screen now. But until next time, from me, Carmen Roberts, and the rest of the Travel Show team here in Russia, it's goodbye.